This is Grumpy SEO Guy, episode 22. SEO Stories 2, Learning from My Crazy Experience in the SEO Industry. You're listening to Grumpy SEO Guy, the SEO podcast that doesn't waste your time with nonsense that doesn't work. I'm the Grumpy SEO Guy, and I'm sharing with you the strategies that have helped me successfully run my SEO agency for the last 14 years. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my knowledge and experience, discussing tips and strategies, and trying to help you cut through the confusion that permeates this industry. If you listen to this podcast, you will know more about SEO than 99% of people on the planet. Ready? Let's get started. I'm the Grumpy SEO Guy. Let me tell you why I'm grumpy today. I'm grumpy today because the SEO industry is full of craziness, and in this episode, I'm going to share some things that have happened to me, and hopefully by listening to this, through this experience, you will learn a lot about SEO, and you will learn about what actually goes on in the SEO industry. Okay, let's get started. But before we do that, my lawyer tells me that I have to say this right now. A quick disclaimer before we get started, everything I say here is based on my experience and opinion from 14 years in the industry. I don't officially know how Google or any other search engines work. Everything I say here is hypothetical and based on my experience. This podcast does not constitute advice or services. What worked for me may or may not work for you. Okay, back to the show. So the first story that I'm going to tell you happened with a client, and this had been a client that we had had for a couple years. Let's say, I don't know how much I can reveal. Let's say they sold furniture, okay? I think I can say that. So they sold furniture, and they had come to us a couple years prior, and the same process that I usually go through with everybody. We emailed a bit, they told me about their business, they told me what keywords they were looking to rank for, I did some research, we agreed on a package and all this stuff, and I built some backlinks for them. Okay. This is totally normal. We used our portfolio of authoritative blogs to build backlinks for them and get them to the top of the search engines. And they stayed at the top of the search engines for a couple years. Okay, so anyway, one day I get an email from a different person at the company. And this person is like, hey, we want you to remove these backlinks. And I said, oh, okay, sure, look, I'm happy to remove these backlinks. Are you sure though? I said, look, because I kept all of the progress from this client, okay? So for example, as you've heard me say before, I track all of our clients' keywords in a SERP tracker. That's SERP tracker, S-E-R-P, SERP, search engine results page. In other words, it just refers to where you are in the search engine results, okay? Are you number 2? Are you number 8? Are you number 40? Are you number whatever, okay? That's all SERP means. So I keep track of all of our clients' keywords in a SERP tracker, which daily goes through and checks the search engines for their keywords, determines where they are, and makes a cool little chart so that you can see progress over time. And I mentioned this before, the SERP tracker that I use is called SERPFox, S-E-R-P-F-O-X, SERPFox.com. There's many SERP trackers. I'm not getting paid to promote them, okay? They don't even know I'm talking about them. I've just used them for over a decade and they're awesome. That's why I mention them. Anyway, I track all of our clients' keywords in a SERP tracker. And so I can see where they've been and where they are, okay? Because the purpose of SEO is making websites go to the top of the search engines. So a SERP tracker is pretty useful for tracking your progress. Anyway, so I had all of this information from way back at the beginning. Anyway, I sent the client all this information and I said, look, and remember, this was information from the SERP tracker. And I said, look, before we started working together, you were down here. And I honestly think they were on page 2 somewhere, right? I don't remember, it doesn't matter. And I said, look, you guys used to be here. And ever since working with us, you've been at the top of the search engines for a very long time. Are you sure you want me to remove these backlinks? And the guy's like, oh yeah, we're trying to control our own backlink profile or something. I can't remember. I should open the emails. I still have them, but it doesn't matter. The point is we went back and forth. All right. We went back and forth like 3 times. And I'm like, listen, the reason you're at the top of the search engines is because the links from my agency are keeping you there. I am more than happy to remove them. But listen, if I remove them, you are most likely going to lose your ranking. Are you absolutely certain this is what you want to do? Oh yeah, please remove the links. Okay. So I slowly and organically removed the links. And if you want to learn more about how to correctly remove links, because you can't just remove them all at once, go listen to episode 5, where I explain in detail how to manage the websites that you've built as part of your portfolio of authoritative domains. Actually, if you want, you can listen to episodes 3, 4, and 5, which explain how to build your own portfolio of authoritative domains so that you can give your clients or your own websites the link juice you need to actually rank. But episode 5 is the one that talks about website management and the way to manage your links, as far as how quickly to build them, how quickly to delete them, and so on. Anyway, I removed them. What do you think happened? He lost his rank. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. I tried my best to explain it to him, but he really just wanted to remove the backlinks. So we removed the backlinks, and they're not at the top of the search engines anymore. Oh well, like I don't know what else to say. But all right. So and then I'm not saying that this is like the smartest thing that I've ever done, okay? But I did email him like 3 months later after he'd lost his rank, and I said, hey, do you remember what I said would happen? Look, it happened. Are you sure you don't want these backlinks? And I never got a response. So, whatever. I don't know. I tried to get in touch with the person that I originally dealt with, like a different person at the company, and I couldn't get in touch with that person anymore. So I don't know. Like maybe they sold the company, or maybe that guy got fired, and somebody. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is, I don't even know what the point is. It's just an interesting story that I wanted to share with you. And I think, and I'm doing this from memory, but I think that I may have even offered them like a big discount to stay with us, because look, keeping links online is less work than actually removing them. So like sometimes maybe it was a budget thing, and I wasn't charging them very much, but like maybe it was a budget thing, okay? And they couldn't afford it. And you know what? You've been a customer for a long time. I don't mind giving you a discounted rate. That's not really gonna like affect us very much. But no, please remove the links. Sure, links are gone. Don't worry about it. Anyway, it was very weird. And I think so. You can understand whatever message you want from that story, but I think this is also a good time to illustrate the fact that most SEO is just buying and selling backlinks. Look, I didn't know who this guy was when I first met him years ago. I didn't know what his company did. I'd never heard of them, but they found us on the marketplace and they said, hey, we need some backlinks. Here's our keywords. What do you think? And I did some research and I looked into the keywords. I said, I think we should do this. And then they started paying us and we gave them backlinks and they got to the top of the search engines. And that is how search engine optimization works. Okay, next story. When I was in the co-working space on the West Coast, I think I mentioned this before, there were like a lot of people. There were tons of startups, tons of entrepreneurs, tons of people that didn't want to work from home. So they wanted to, be like in a more social setting. Super awesome, super great place. And anyway, I was friends with these people who had founded a startup, and I don't think I can reveal their industry without giving away their company. So I'm not going to. Anyway, they had basically founded the startup with the intent of having it be acquired by a larger company in the same industry. And I can't tell you because there's not very many companies in this industry, and I think that would give it away. But anyways, so I was friends with these people. I was friends with these founders. Super cool people. It's like just awesome, super friendly. Like we'd talk and hang out and go to parties and stuff. And like anyway, so one day they're like, oh, you own an SEO agency, right? And I'm like, yes, I do. And they're like, oh, you should talk to so-and-so, this woman who works for them. She's like, she does our SEO. And I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you. My goal going into this meeting was to try and get them as a client, because who can do SEO better than we can, right? Like I can't think, with very few exceptions, I can't think of somebody that we couldn't help. Okay. So anyway, I go into a meeting with this woman, and like, this was literally our talk. I'm like, tell me a little bit about what you do. And she's like, oh yeah, we do. She's like, I do SEO for such and such. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, well, what do you do? Like, what is your SEO strategy? Like, can you talk to me a little bit more? I mean, I own an SEO industry. You can tell me something besides I do SEO. Okay. Like what are you doing? How are you doing it? Are you doing content? Are you doing backlinks? Like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, well, I mostly just make sure that like our content is good because the search engines like that. And I'm like, oh, interesting. So you're ranking well for all of the keywords that you want to rank for, which admittedly is kind of a snarky question. Okay. But sometimes if people are not being forthcoming when I think they should be forthcoming, I might ask a question like that. Like, like, for example, I'm not saying do this, but I'm saying I have done this. If somebody says, oh yeah, we're satisfied with our current SEO, then I'll say, oh, so you're at the top of the search engines for all your keywords. And then they're like, well, not really. And then that furthers the conversation, okay? Rather than just like letting it go, because if you're satisfied with your SEO, you should be at the top of the search engines. I may have said that backwards, but you get my point. Anyway, look. So I'm like, oh, so you're at the top of the search engines for all your keywords. And she's like, I mean, I guess, I don't know. And I'm like, aren't you in charge of SEO at this company? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, and you don't know where you're ranking for your keywords? And she's like, I mean, I just pretty much just make the content. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like, I honestly think she got paid a lot of money to like not do anything at all, because I don't think she was either very not interested in talking to me, or just like didn't know what she was doing and like didn't want it to be revealed that she didn't know what she was doing, because then she might like, get spoken to by her managers or something. So I'm like, look, I'm not going to say anything to anyone, but if you ever find that you need help with your SEO, if you're ever not in one of the first few positions for your keywords, please come to me, because that's what we specialize in, because we do SEO, and you shouldn't have to say that's what we specialize in. But anyways, like, I'm super jealous of this woman. Like, I think she has the easiest, highest paying job in the world. Like, I was just like, how are you, like, how did you get hired? How are you an SEO person? I don't know, but I'll be truthful with you. I think a lot of people get hired in SEO positions and don't know what they're doing. And preview, I have been on a handful of SEO interviews recently, and I'm going to tell you the questions that I was asked, and I'm going to tell you all about it, because I can confidently say that 2/3 of the companies with whom I interviewed don't understand SEO, and some of them were SEO agencies. So that's going to be a very enjoyable episode, you could say. Okay. But anyway, there's not really a point to the story, but I'm just like, here's an SEO person at a startup who's literally not doing anything except maybe making some content, I guess, doesn't know where their keywords rank, and I don't know. And so some of you are probably thinking, well, you should have used that time to explain to her how it works and tell her that she should be tracking her keywords and all that. Yes, of course, we had that talk, okay? But I'm just taking like key points from this meeting with you, not like reciting the entire dialogue back and forth to you, okay? Anyway, next story. I was at a presentation by some Google people, and the audience was mostly SEO people, okay? And at the end of it, look, Google was talking about some stuff, whatever, but at the end of the meeting, I'm like, all right, time to meet some people, right? Time to meet some SEO people. And I met this guy who was the CEO of a large, I don't want to say SEO agency, because they did more than SEO. They did SEO, they did AdWords, they did website design, they did conversion optimization, they did all the things. You know how I feel about that. But anyway, I sat down at a table with this guy, the CEO of a big, let's call it internet marketing agency. I sat down at a table with the CEO of a big internet marketing agency, okay? And we were talking a little bit. He's like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm an SEO agency. What do you do? I mean, imagine that. Like, we're at a Google thing. Like, of course, everybody does SEO. But he's like, oh, yeah, I own such and such agency and blah, blah, blah. And we do this and we do that. And I'm like, cool. And we're talking about SEO for a little bit. And I said, look, let's just talk for a little bit. Now, again, my thinking here is I'm sure that I could get these guys as a client. Why? Because I'm confident that nobody does SEO better than us. Number two, a large percentage of our clients are SEO agencies, because if you listen to this podcast, you know that there are very few people in the world who actually do SEO, and most people, and that includes most agencies, just outsource to these people, okay? A sizable percentage of our clients are SEO agencies who don't do SEO themselves, but have us do it for them. So maybe I'll get a new client who's an SEO agency. It wouldn't be the first time that we've had a client like that. Great opportunity to do this, right? So anyway, we're talking, and I said, listen, I've been doing SEO for a long time. I'm like, and I love to talk, and I love to hear about how other people are doing it. I said, talk to me a little bit about your guys' SEO strategy. I'd love to compare notes. And he just gave me this like blank look. And I was like, well, I mean, how do you guys actually do your SEO? Like, do you build backlinks? And he got up and walked away from the table. So, okay, bro. Like, I don't, you know how I've said before that people don't want to talk about building backlinks? It's like this secret. It's this like 4-letter word that you can't say. And I mentioned before that I have lost potential clients because I explained to them in our meetings that we're going to build backlinks for them. And they saw somewhere and they read somewhere on the internet that building backlinks is bad and building backlinks is manipulation, and they're immediately turned off and they never want to work with us. And then they do work with some other agency that doesn't get them any results. So I wouldn't expect to get that response from somebody in the industry though. Like, come on, if you're getting results for your clients, you're building backlinks. So either this guy hated me for this guy that I literally just met, or they're just a shady SEO agency. And I'm not calling them out. First of all, I'm not going to give their name. Second of all, I'm not calling them out and saying that they're a shady SEO agency. But come on, if I ever meet an SEO person and they want to talk about backlink building, heck yes, let's have that hour-long conversation. That is fun, okay? We'll probably compare notes. We'll probably each learn something. Maybe one of us will get a client out of the deal. Who knows? But I was completely turned off. It's just dude, I'm literally this is a learning opportunity for both of us. This is a networking opportunity for both of us. You're out of your mind. Dude, you own a full service internet marketing agency, okay? You do SEO, sure, but you also do AdWords and you also do conversion optimization and you also do website design. Do you not think that I might be able to refer somebody to you for one of those things? We get clients all the time that want those things, and we don't do any of those things. We only do SEO. So you know what? I refer out AdSense all the time to other people. I refer out web design all the time to other people. I refer out conversion optimization all the time to other people. So anyway, that guy just lost out on all of those referrals from us. And yeah, I also lost out on getting a SEO client who needs backlink building. So anyway, whatever, I don't care. But it was just, I just, sometimes I don't understand why the SEO industry works the way it does. I just don't. Anyway, that's the end of that story. Next story. So at the same co-working space, I met another woman there, and she worked for an internet marketing agency that somebody else that I knew owned. And I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to name anybody. I'm not going to name any agencies. I'm not going to name any people. Okay. But they were a pretty successful agency. Okay. So anyway, I didn't know that when we started talking. I was like, what do you do? Oh, I do SEO. Oh my gosh, I do SEO too, And so it was that kind of situation. And so anyway, I was like, oh, she's like, what agency do you work for? And I'm like, oh, I own my own agency. We're called such and such. And she's like, oh, I work for so-and-so. And I'm like, oh, I know them. I'm like, I know your founder. He's super cool. And we had this long conversation. Okay. So anyway, I don't remember who brought it up, but the topic was brought up. What do you think is the hardest part of SEO? And I don't remember who asked and I don't remember who answered first, but I remember I answered sales. I said, look, I can do SEO all day long, but as you know, if you listen to episode 18, I am terrible at sales. I don't like doing sales. I can do sales, but I don't like it, and I'm not naturally a salesperson. So I said, I think the hardest part of SEO for me is sales. And she's like, oh yeah, me too, blah, blah, blah. And then she says this to me. She goes, but I always promise our prospective clients that we'll rank them for something. And I was like, wait, hold on for a second. You always promise them that you will rank them for something? And she goes, well, yeah, because there's always something we can rank them for. And I'm like, okay, red flag right here. I didn't say this out loud, but I'm like, red flag right here. You can never promise anyone anything. And so it reminded me, if you remember in the scams episode, when I talk about how people will sometimes guarantee you results, but they rank you for a keyword that gets no monthly search volume, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, they'll rank you for something, but it doesn't matter because 0 people are searching for those keywords per month. So it doesn't matter at all if you're at the top of the search engines because nobody's going to find your website because nobody's searching for those keywords. And I'm just like, oh, please tell me that you guys aren't one of, I didn't say this, but I'm thinking this. Please tell me that you guys aren't one of those shady SEO agencies that promises rank and then ranks for worthless keywords. Oh man. Anyways, the point, okay, look. So by the way, that story's over, but look, the point is, this kind of stuff happens all the time, and it doesn't, I'm not even fazed by it anymore. I'm like, oh yeah, look, a company that doesn't want to talk about backlinks. Well, I guarantee you they don't get results for their clients. Oh yeah, someone who is getting paid to do SEO and isn't even keeping track of their keyword positions. It's just come on. I don't know. Look, but you know what? The this is called Grumpy SEO Guy is because I'm kind of grumpy, okay? But you know what? SEO is full of scammers. I've already told you 99% of SEO agencies and 99% of SEO consultants are scammers. And I even quantified how I arrived at that number in episode 18. So if you're curious, if you think that I'm just making up numbers, like, oh, we just said 99% to try and sound like it's a big deal. Yeah, why don't you go listen to episode 18 and I quantify how I arrived at 99%. Anyway, look, this episode was the second SEO Stories episode, and I hope it was helpful. I do, because sometimes just learning stuff is boring. So I feel like if you can teach from experience, which, was my goal here, and hopefully I accomplished that. I don't know, maybe it was boring. If you thought this SEO Stories episode was boring, just email me and be like, hey, that was terrible. Don't do any more SEO Stories episodes. Or if you liked it, let me know too, because you know what? I feel like they help explain things. So I don't know. But anyways, I really do. I really hope this is helpful. I hope this podcast in general is helpful. I know there's a lot of unhelpful, terrible information in the SEO industry. I know there's tons of gurus that have their blogs that either give you bad advice or don't actually give you any actionable steps to do anything. That's frustrating because if you're trying to learn, you need specific instruction to learn a thing. If somebody's just giving you vague advice, that's super unhelpful, isn't it? Anyway, I've already said it, but I hope this was helpful. And let me know what you think about it. hello@grumpyseoguy.com. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you enjoy this podcast, please leave a review. It would really help the show out. I hope this episode is helpful. And if you have any questions, or if there's anything that you want me to talk about on a future episode, you can email me at hello@grumpyseoguy.com. And I'll talk to you later. You're listening to Grumpy SEO Guy, the SEO podcast that doesn't waste your time with nonsense that doesn't work. Join us next Wednesday when we talk about answers to random SEO questions I've gotten online.